back to the Joe H.R.G. podcast, where I talk about anything I want, and you listen, because honestly, that's how that works. Except, most people don't always listen, because, I've looked at my ratings. If you like that, that was me making riffs. Literally, I made that up a couple minutes before I started doing this, and then I did not actually do anything. I don't know if that is even going to be a band song, so that exists. There's just that in the air. If you liked it, cool. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Okay, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so we'll see what that does. And if you like that, cool. I'm more or less gonna announce some business stuff first. Being that my YouTube channel, called Joe HRG, I think, as well. Let me pull that up real quick because I don't know what it's actually called. But anyway, I might start doing I'm thinking of doing a series where I go through my vinyl collection. So look out for that. I'm gonna go through it in bits and pieces because I've got a lot here. A lot of it's jazz too. So just stuff to look out for. Yeah, it is Joe HRG is the channel as well. Anyway, so stuff to look out for is that. So, and it's October. Happy October. I hope the dog's not whining, cause I got a dog around somewhere. So yeah. Last week I talked about crypto with my dad. Hopefully you guys like that. If you want more like that, I'll see. But for the most part, it seems like most people didn't attribute much to it, or really just kind of joked it off. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing that type of content with like marketing and investing info. Maybe I'll encourage my dad to start his own podcast with that, or he can come on here. Either way, I don't know. In other news, since it being October, I can talk about Martin Luther a little bit. I guess. I don't really know if you guys would listen to that, because he's more of like a church guy, He's not really secular, so I don't know if that's gonna click people off of the video. But anyway, I just wanted to go into like a little bit about this book I've been reading on Martin Luther, called Martin Luther, obviously, but it's a pretty good book. I've been reading it a little while. I read it a year ago or so, and I stopped reading it, and then I picked it up again now. I usually do that. I'll have stints where I'll go through like a book, and I'll like read most of it, and then I'll get like done with it towards the end, and I can't finish it, and then I'll pick it up a year later and go back to it, because I can't handle all that information at once, because it's like generally I draw towards like nonfiction stuff that is happened in the real world or history or something. But yeah, Martin Luther nailed the 95 Theses to a church in Wittenberg. Probably, I don't want this to become a book talk, but it kind of has already. But so great theologian, great man. I wouldn't say to the point where you can praise him a lot, because then he'd become an idol, and then you'd be tainting the very thing he was trying to teach not to. A lot of his business was with indulgences and with the churches in general, of think it was like 1500s, 17, 15, 16. I can't remember. 15, I think, is when he moved to Wittenberg? I don't know. I can't remember from the book. But yeah, so it's the church had some problems with indulgences, and I take this problem up with most anybody, is that most, even myself included, people treat like books or some sort of reading as if it's God. Like, you'll read, I don't know, some people will read something from like a philosopher, and then they'll be like, this person is infallible, they're not wrong, they can never be wrong because they're a philosopher. Yes, they're a smart man, but no, they can't be wrong. Like, they can be wrong. I just said can't be wrong. I almost used a double negative by accident. It's not time for grammar. Anyway, they can be wrong. You're human. You're supposed to be wrong, usually. And, you know, Luther, for the most part, thought he was kind of wrong for a little bit. Or at least that he was just not doing as well as the others. A lot of his monastic life was spent with that. I can't confirm that as a fact. It's more of like a story on that. I'm not sure if that's a fact. I'll have to fact check that later, on whether that is true. But there's a story that sort of Martin Luther would, treat himself harsher than most of the other monks in the monasteries. He would like go into confessions for hours over little things, because he thought that no matter what, there was some part of him that was sinful. And because of the time, the church literally preached the idea of like a wrathful God, no love at all. And so So Luther had a problem with that, and he was really kind of trying to scrub himself clean, but no matter how much he tried, he couldn't, which is true for all of us. We can't be 100% good, because there's no such thing as that. We can't be, you just can't. There's something that'll stop you. So yeah, that's sort of that's sort of where I was at with the book, and what I really wanted to talk about with Martin Luther in general was his sort of struggle to realize that what was taught was not entirely true, but has truth to it, being that people can say something that's partially true, like a philosopher could say something that's close to true, but it can never be infallible. It is not something that is without a doubt unforsaken, unchallenged whatsoever. And you'll meet these people who usually they're high school students like me, who will be like, oh, this philosopher said something, and it's infallible because this philosopher said it, and that it is 100% true, and I'm not talking out of my, to put it so plainly, talking out of my ass. So yeah, there's that. But, that's sort of what I wanted to talk about with Luther and all that. I don't really have much else. I want to keep this kind of short for today. But yeah, look out for the sort of YouTube stuff and my album collection if I do go through that. And then yeah, that's about all I wanted to say. So like usual, have a good morning, a good evening, and a good night, and goodbye.